What's up, YouTube family? In this video, we're going to go over a dynamic and loaded stretching sequence using high squats and lunges. If this is your first time here, maybe like this video or subscribe for future updates. So we're going to assume that you've done some sort of warm-up, or at least you're ready to move if you're doing this video. We're going to start with some dynamic stretching, and then eventually we're going to load it. I have a kettlebell over here, 15 pounds. For those yoga sculpt people, I have two 5-pound weights. You can use either one. I actually like using the kettlebell because it helps me to avoid that constant feeling that I should pump, which is really not what we're doing here. That is more of an aerobic exercise. We're going to be loading the sequences. So we're going to go through 3 basic sequences and then we'll load them. So we're going to start with an easy one called high squat or goddess into a lunge. In this movement, we're going to rotate the back leg, but we're not going to move the front. So first we're going to find a high squat. Make sure your feet are facing out in alignment with the knees. So when you bend the knees, they're coming over the toes. All right, so first the high squat, whatever variation you want, hands to your sides. Try not to have the hands on your legs. Try to keep them away from the support. Then I'm gonna internally rotate and lift the back heel. Notice I didn't move my front knee. That's okay. Slowly come down and then return. Right? There's nothing wrong with you doing a little loaded rotation in the knee. Just go slow. Back to the high squat. Internally rotate. Slow and low in the lunge. Coming back, and maybe a few of these. A round would be considered each side 1 time. And so on. All right, so the next sequence we'll work on will be a lateral lunge. The first rule of the lateral lunge is head over foot. Let's just practice that for balance. Take the head over the foot that you're working with. Like when you're walking, you're supposed to center more that way anyway. And also another rule or another thing I like to advise is when you step back, diagonal. This way you're not going straight back, might be too linear. Give yourself more of a base. So the second sequence, we can start standing, head over 1 foot, doesn't matter. Coming back. Find a lunge, maybe tap the knee, open into the goddess. Now you'll adjust the feet, knees track over the ankles, and then eventually find that rotated lunge, and you can step and correct. I mean, obviously there's going to be micro adjustments with the feet. Coming back around the other side, you can start with the same side again. Right, micro adjusting in the feet, whatever you want, and back to stand. That's what we would consider 1 round. Let's go around the other way. Head over foot, maybe step wide. Control. Head over foot. Maybe step wide. Right, I'm using rotation, but you could have corrected before or after. Take a moment, 3D breath, maybe exhale out of the mouth. I'm already working. These are not easy. The last one we're going to work with is from a high lunge. A little more active chair pose. Let's just go into it. Let's find a chair variation. Could be hands down or up. Knee to the chest. Warrior 3 to high lunge. Maybe tap the knee. Back to 3. Knee to the chest. Chair other side. Knee to the chest. All right, warrior 3 to high lunge. Get low, maybe tap the knee. And back. All right, dynamic. I'm moving slowly through the poses. I'm not using my arms, or at least I'm trying not to. Now let's move on to the loaded versions of these where it's going to get a little bit harder. Take a moment to breathe. In through the mouth, nose, out through the mouth. A few cycles of breath here. So if you're into doing yoga sculpt and all you have is the 2 5s, sure, you can hold them. I want you to avoid the pump, right? The delts. You don't need that. All we're trying to do is make what we're doing heavier. So I'm just holding them through the same sequence. I'm gonna switch back and forth. I'll start with the weights. I'm gonna hold them centered, the high squat. All right, just figure out where it is. I'm just loading what I already have. Then I'm gonna internally rotate, come down and back. And then a few rounds. Notice I'm not doing anything with the weight. It's just loading the existing stretch sequence. The dynamic stretch is now a loaded stretch. A few rounds. Control. Now, if you can't control this, go back to not using the weights. The weights are more advanced. They're going to give you more feedback. The only thing your body understands is tension, force, time under tension. You can hear it, I'm already winded. A couple of cycles of breath. For next one, I'm going to use the kettlebell. That was the full wraparound sequence. So with the kettlebell, I like it because you're not really inclined to pump it. You're just inclined to hold it. So we're gonna start standing. Again, don't use the weight unless you feel it's okay. Head over foot, lunge. Once I come back, maybe get low, tap the knee, come back through, goddess. Flip the other side, get low, maybe, lift the weight, and step. Coming back around. Head over foot, step back. I can also just keep the weight centered. And the other way. Micro adjusting the feet as I need to. Coming back around. And this is a lot harder. Okay. All right, take a couple breaths. That last sequence, chair pose, knee to the chest. Then we did warrior 3 to high lunge. And then we went back around in a mandala fashion. When you're ready, pick your weight back up. Here we go. Start at the top, chair. Sure, you could lift. Knee to the chest, warrior 3. Come back to high lunge. Maybe lift, maybe not. Back to warrior 3. You could hang it too, right? Find what's right. As long as you're not in the pump, it's just static. Chair, other side. Knee to the chest, warrior 3. All right, find the lunge. Come down, you could lift. Back to 3. Could be away a little. Just no pumping. Knee to the chest. Back to chair. Oh, and let that go. Okay, that was a nice sequence. I'm kind of toasted from that. And the beauty of this is we've done a lot of stretching, loading, working with the nervous system. I kept on saying no pumps. And really what I mean by that is, I have the saying where I talk about we're not doing reps, we're writing checks. So if it's something that you've done before, writing a check, you understand you want to be precise. If you make a mistake, you have to start over. This is the same feeling. We're not doing reps with the weight, we're not pumping. We're writing checks, we're being precise. That's how I like to think about this. I hope you felt the loading, the increased need for stability. I'm Jeff, this is Yoga Framework. Thanks for watching.